Joy. Joy's our oldest daughter.
Okay, my husband and I live in Wahpeton. It's an hour south of Fargo, if you're not familiar with that. We've lived there just 10 months or so, so we're just learning to enjoy the town. We have 3 children. My husband can't be here today. He has a family that has to meet a plane later this afternoon, but he'll be here this evening. Let's see, I wanted to include your education, so I better say that too. I've been employed for 3 days at a new job, and right? And last year I worked at a school, and I really enjoyed that, so if this new job doesn't work out, I'm just going to go back to school. My husband works for a seed company as a production manager for State Coast Seed Sunflower. We have 3 children. Kelly is 19 with his father in Washington yet. We'll be here later. Goes to school at the college. And then I have 2 daughters. Carolee is 17. Jennifer is 12.
I'm Alan McCullough, Everett's oldest son. This is my wife Peggy and daughter Julie. She's what, 17? Davis is 10, 11 next month. Right? Peggy works at Newman Signs. She makes their outdoor advertisers, and they make all these speed limit signs you see out on the highways, 50 feet. And all that stuff. And I work at Jamestown Implements. I'm a truck driver.
My name's Gail McCullough Sherway, and this is my husband, Mel Sherway. We live on a farm by Castleton, which is about 20 minutes out of Fargo. I can see the lights out of Fargo out my kitchen window. I always say that's my security blanket. And these are our children. Shylock, who is 10, going to be a 4th grader. Kyle is going to be a 3rd grader. He is 8. And Hillary is 4, and she is in preschool. Mel farms and is a tax accountant in the wintertime, and I work part-time at the bank in Castle.
My name is Joel McCullough, Everett's second son. So my wife's Mary, Jason, oldest boy, Casey, and twins Tricia and Trina. The next generation of twins we always talk about. See, I'm an electrician here in Hope, and my wife Mary helps with the book, does the bookkeeping. Jason, he's playing football now, excited about that. Casey, he was helping out the shop a couple days. The girls do a lot of swimming. We moved back to Hope here a few years ago, and the rest of the family was here. Then a few years later, they all moved away. I don't know if it's a hint or not. Oh yeah, Mary's birthday today, 35 years old.
We thought we planned this for her birthday, so. Next family, Carly McCullough, Charles.
I'm Charlie. This is my son Dan.
I'm working for the old man. The goddamn kid for the other just called me. Dallas is my oldest, she's 11, Travis 9, Trevor 5, 7. Hi. They're all in Valley City. They play baseball all summer. Dallas plays softball. Then I guess that's about it. All people.
Pride and joy, I always heard. After 3 boys. Anyway, I'd like to introduce you to Adolf, my husband. Ben. The father of our 9 children. It's our oldest son is Adolf is a retired farmer. He's a carpenter now. And we go to Arizona in the winter time. We spend the summers in Hope. And I sell dresses in Arizona, and he does carpenters for people down there. And we love the weather. We think we have the best of both worlds. And I'd like to introduce my oldest son and his family. Mine is Gary, but there's Mary, his wife, who's a beautician. Kim is a daughter. She's going to college in Vail State this fall. Shane, our adopted grandson here, he's a senior in high school. And Carla is sophomore in high school. Junior high school. Grandma's flipping. And Gary's with the insurance company, is what he does. And Dawn is not here, his sister. She lives in Valley City. Be here tonight. Connie? Our oldest daughter, Connie, her husband, Woody, from Wapaton. Woody Casper's furniture store in Wapaton. I'll turn the mic over to these kids here. They can help.
Yeah. No, you guys. On our south of Wapaton. My husband's family owns, with a family-owned furniture store and a funeral home. These are two grandchildren, Megan and Laura. They live in Oregon, and it's just his daughter, and he has we have a newlywed middle son, Jim and Corey. They live in Wisconsin. They were married last weekend in Detroit, Michigan. And our youngest son, Jim and Amy, Dave and Amy, live in St. Cloud, and they're students at the university there.
My wife Marilyn, my oldest son Josh, second boy Kent, and our baby Dean. And I farm and she cooks.
Wait on the home plate.
Yeah, 2 years ago, whenever got off the farm out there, I purchased the old home farm, so it's still in the family.
Hi, I'm Reed. My wife Michelle. Tiffany, a teenager. And Calvin at the end of the table there. We been in the grain elevator business, manager for about 15 years. Spent 12 years up in Mackville and just recently moved up to Devil's Lake. So we're just getting rolling up there. Michelle sells little Mary Kay on the side, and I retired her as a bookkeeper. She used to help me out at Mackville, but we decided to cut that one out. So Tiffany's busy playing basketball now, and Calvin will be in 5th grade. He'll probably try to stay out of trouble up there.
So I'm Neil, and this is my little girl Ashley. She's 5. I farm by Finley, and I farmed with her for 15 years, I guess. And Ash starts school on Monday, I guess. Neil.
Nobody knows.
First store in town. He's not here yet. He'll be coming. And he grew up in the heart of Chicago home. And I guess we live in a home. What's home? Mom, you said one of your relatives was in our home too. Anyway, that's the home that we now live in. So we have a little history, I guess, in our home. We have 3 children. Aaron, he's 11. Erica, she's 9. And Matthew, he's down there. He's 6, but he keeps us busy. Hello. I'm not Lori and I'm not Connie, but I am Mary Ann. And I'm a hairdresser and a single, and I have a pepper shop. I live in Minot.
Dale Larry, my family.
Brenda. Brenda works in the accounting department at Red River Commodities in Fargo. Jessica is 9, ready to start school next week. Jamie, turn around, bud. Jamie is 6, starts first grade next week, and Tyler, the terrific. And he just keeps us in and out of trouble all the time. And I work with the Department of Agriculture and ASCS in Fargo, and sympathize with the farmers' plight and like to hear stories about their problems and get to put on speeches for them all the time when I come back. So, nice video.
Hi, I'm Keith. I guess you'll see it's true, they say the best for the last. And my wife, Brenda, and Chastity, the oldest, Cheryl, back here, and Christy, and Chelsea, and Sheila, the baby. Got 5 girls. I manage the elevator up in Walhalla. Been there for 2 years.
Twins of Joe and Ethel. That's right, I am the twin, the one that gets up early in the morning and gets started. My husband Lester, and we have 4 children, and we live in Glendive, Montana. I work in the house and out of the house, and the days go by fast. And we're sure happy to be here today.
Yeah, this gal, a little gal come to Montana, and that's the way I got hooked up with the McCullough family. Thank you.
My name's Colby Sampson. I'm the second son. This is my wife, Susie. She's a legal secretary in Moorhead, and I go to school at Dakota Aero Tech in Fargo. This is my son, Seth. He'll be 3 in October.
I'm Cindy Sheets, and I'm the 3rd child. And this is my husband, Shan, and we live in Glendive also, and he's laid pipeline in the oil field. And I'm a bank teller at First National Bank. And this is our son, Brandon, who'll be 4 next month. I'm Kara. I'm the youngest. And this is my husband, Doug. We live in Glendive too. And our son, Dane, he works at the butchery store. I stay home and babysit. Dad works at the butchery store.
Hello, I'm Craig, the oldest in the family. Living in Vernal, Utah right now. I've worked for Wireline at the service company in Allsville for 11 years. Been transferred down there out of Glendive. This is my girlfriend, Lori. She works for the DWR. Fish and Wildlife Service, excuse me. Her and Dale have a lot to talk about this weekend. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Who'll be next? Marla? You want to be next? Oh, Brandon's going to speak.
Hi.
I'm Vern Richardson, and I haven't had anything to say in the family being married to a McCullough in 36 years, so I'll let her take over.
This is really nice, huh? I'm Marla, Joe and Ethel's second daughter. And we have 5 children. We live in Minot. Our oldest daughter, Candace, is in Minot. Our oldest son and his wife are with us. Scott, where are you? About me? Well, I'm a housewife. Not nothing much. This place. Yeah, well, I keep house. We're soon to retire on the Burlington Northern, so we will travel, hopefully. And that's about it, I guess. Huh? Hi, this is our oldest son.
Hi, I'm Scott Richardson. My wife, Karen. We both live in Minot. I work in a salvage yard, and Karen works at one of the elevators in town. I'm Randy. I'm Mom and Dad's second oldest, well, third oldest. I'm the middle kid, yeah. And I'll be starting college this September 3rd and moving down to Minnesota. That's about it.
Hi, I'm Debbie Schmid. My husband's not here because he's working on the sewer line.
You know how that goes. And we have 4 daughters. Our oldest one, a teenager. Fun time starting this year. And we got Kelly, and Sarah, Amber, and Brittany. And we have we own our own business. We clean chimneys whenever Dean's around to help. Otherwise, I do some by myself and try to keep busy. I'm a housewife. I'm Penny Leducer. This is my daughter Chelsea. She'll be 4 months on the 3rd. And we live in Minot. I work at Pizza Hut. My husband wasn't able to make it today, so we're here by ourselves.
My wife's Lenora, and I work for my son Kevin. At the grocery store.
He's still the boss.
And that's Kevin, Mike, Pat, and Terry.
How about your wife?
Oh, I don't have nothing.
We don't have no family to talk about, so. No.
You like horses? Yeah. Gonna marry some woman with horses, you know anyone? And money, horses and money. Mike?
I live in Fargo. I work for a home medical equipment company, and I'm the skinniest because I only got scraps.
Hello, I'm Pat. I'm employed by the city of Hope. I sort of run this town. I'm Carrie. I'm the youngest. We didn't have a dog. That's why we gave Mike scraps. I work for the city also, and I work at the bank.
This is Joanne, and after growing up with a sister like Jean, who could be quieter? And I married a lawn builder. He's in his 41st year of business in Fargo Moorhead. And right now he's putting the green side up, so I hope he'll be here later this afternoon. And of course he's got to keep me in the fashion I'm accustomed. And we have 4 children. Our 2 boys aren't here. Glenn works with Crystal Sugar in Moorhead. He's married to a lovely gal that's she works in admitting office at St. Luke's Hospital. And they have 4 children that are 13, a boy that's 13, John. Jennifer is 10, Katie is 7, and Kyle is 5. And he starts kindergarten this year, and his teacher says she's going to retire according to the age she's getting. I think this will be her year. And then Mark lives in Three Forks, Montana. He's a machinist out there and married a gal with 2 children. Jimmy is 12, and Lacey is 8. I think she's 9, actually. And they have a little girl, Lindsay Sue. She's 17 months old. We've only seen her twice and hope to get out there this fall to see them. And then we have Kathy is our youngest. We'll start with her. First of all, though, I have to say that I'm one of the most unique people here. There are only 4 of us here, and I'm one of the twins.
Kathy Treader, and my husband Dwayne works for Crystal Sugar in East Grand Forks, and this is Rachel Ann, who will be 3 in October. And we have a house in East Grand Forks and have been on the road for about 21 months, and it's good to be back home. So, pass it over to Larry and Julie. Hi, I'm Julie, and this is my husband Larry. He works for the city of Moorhead. He's been there for 13 years, and at one time I was concerned about security and job, but with all the encouragements and saving earth, with the farmers making the products and the rest of you throwing it away, he'll always have a job. And this is my daughter Amy. She's 14. She likes piano. She's a volunteer. Whenever she gets a chance, she helps with Bible school. She does things with campfire. She likes piano, and she's in choir. This is my son Joe. He's 11. He plays hockey, and he's in his first season of football and had his first injury in his thumb. So he's got things in common with other football players. I supervise. I don't do much else, but I'm getting really good at supervising. I live at the lake in the summer.
You know, Jean always thinks she did all the work in the family. Well, I went to work after I raised my children. And I'm supervising at the hospitality shop at the lunch counter at St. Luke's Hospital. I'll be finishing my 8th year there next week. So far, she's a beautiful piano player. She's going to be playing some Irish songs during the supper hour tonight, dinner hour, wherever you call it. She's going to be playing some Irish tunes, folk tunes, and later in the program, she loves the piano and singing. She's won awards for her singing. Jennifer is 12, and she has a dog that we're working real hard with. That's her whole summer here.
Hi, I'm Shirley, the baby of the family. My 8 brothers and sisters pick on me all the time, especially Jean and Joanne, the twins, 2 years older than me. I live in Moorhead with my husband Rupert. We own the FM engraving business, and we're also in Amway. And we have 2 children, Terry, 21, and Patty, 18. They want to
And what happened to my mom's hand? She stuck it in the washing machine and cut it.
Hi, I'm Terry. Oh, close. Not that close. Hi, I'm Terry. Have a good day.
Terry is going to be a senior at UND, and he's very nervous today because it took out of his time of moving from the honors house to an apartment, and he works nights. So he really thought he'd given up today for his sleep.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
To be here with the McCullough family. I have been with them more than half of my life. It's a pleasure to be here with the McCullough family. They've been very good to me. And I have 2 sons, Warren, who is now working with the aluminum electronics company after having retired from his IBM work for 25 years. And he spent his time between San Diego and Austin, Texas. Then Robert and Marty have 3 children. Seth, who is a senior this fall in UCLA, and his major is, I have trouble with that. I forget what it is, but it's in the line of his talent. He's a very talented young man in drawing and advertising. Graphics, that's his thing too, whoever thought of it. And he's also in ROTC. He's a wonderful Christian man who is using his Christianity in the Army in a very unique way. Shem, who graduated from high school and is attending the El Centro Junior College. I'm not sure what he wants to do, but I think he wants to go into law. He has a gift of gab. McCullough? You get that from the McCullough? Pardon me?
Gift of gab in the McCullough?
That's right. That comes from the McCullough family. Not from mine. Shalom, who goes into 2nd grade this fall, is a very petite little girl and has her talent also. It's been a joy to be here. And I thank every one of you for accepting me as a part of your family. Thank you.
That just shows that they have successful lives when sometimes they can't get away, or successful lives maybe that they can take a vacation and join us too.
Thank you. First, I want to thank you for everything that you've done. It's been wonderful to have it planned and not have to do anything. I'm Ruth, of course, and one of the 3 girls, Sylvia and Frida. They're all together, and you've heard lots of stories about it. Maybe we'll hear more later on. I was married to Richard Wavra. He passed away in '85, but I taught for 33 years. The last 18 years of my teaching was in Enderlin. I had 7th and 8th grade English and enjoyed every bit of it. Now I'm retired and enjoying that also. I have a son named Don and his wife Connie, and I'm sure he'll be able to tell you more about himself and their family. Thank you.
Well, I'm I'm Don, and we have 5 children. Our daughter Jan and her husband, Jan Schmidt, married to Ron, live in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Our second daughter Jill is married and is attending Moorhead State, hoping to graduate from there this coming spring. She's married to John Arns, who is a dispatcher for Transport Inc. If you see these liquid haulers around the country, there's a lot of them. He's a dispatcher for them. Our third daughter is Julie, and she's a student at Moorhead State, and she's moving today. In fact, we had our trunk full of stuff to take. We dropped off at Moorhead on our way through here. Oh, we're from Detroit Lakes, by the way. I guess we probably didn't say that. And, what's that? I'll get to that. Save the best till last. Let's see now, where are we? We got Julie at college, and she's got a couple more years yet to go. And she's got to be married a year from now. She has a fiancé. And then we have Jacob, who is 16, and he's going to be a junior in high school, and he does cross country and anything else that involves a lot of activity. Then we have Joseph. He's 13. He's going to be in 8th grade, and he is involved in a lot of activities too. They're both kind of those skinny, flat-bellied kind of guys, you know, that run and chase from one end to the other. So they're a lot of fun. You know, I just thought of something. Well, we have a dog. We have a coonhound, black and tan coonhound. Yeah. I'm probably one of the youngest cousins, aren't I? Who's younger than I am? I'm not saying. I'm 49. I'm the youngest? What about Orly? Is he younger? He's older? Oh, Ronnie. I forgot about Ron. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I'm second youngest cousin. You guys are all old. You got grandchildren and everything already? What did we forget? Oh, I work at Detroit Lakes Printing. We are a printing company and publish a number of newspapers for the area, you know, like Ada and Lake Park and a lot of places like that. And been there 27 years plus a few months. And I guess that's it.
Yeah, well, I'm at the head of this family, and I'm sorry that Harry isn't here because he'd be very happy. And I think it's been a wonderful opportunity for all of us. And I certainly thank you girls for what you've done. It's really been a chore, especially when you were teaching and all that. And now you've had this sorrow in your family, but you've recovered and you're just doing fine. Well, I was born in 1902, and I'm 89 years old, going on 90. And I live at Bethany's home in Fargo, North Dakota. It's a retirement home. But also, when you get disabled, they have a skilled area that they'll take care of you until you die. But anyway, most people my age won't tell their age because they don't want people to know how old they are. But I'm proud to tell that I'm going on 90 and feeling as good as I am. Now I'll turn it over to my oldest daughter, Mary.
Okay, I'm Mary Helen, married to Walter Kraus, who is right down here. We live in Virginia, Minnesota. I was a teacher for a number of years and just retired, and of course I'm enjoying it immensely. Walt was a letter carrier right in town. When I went to teach in Virginia, my mother said, why don't you find someone who has a job with lots of security like a letter carrier? So I did. And I had to go back to work, you notice. So the security wasn't always so good. But we have 4 children, one of whom is outside with baby now, a little bit on the ornery order, you might say. But Jim is around with his little daughter, Kelly. And his wife is here with the other boy, Terry and Brian, right over there. My oldest daughter, Susan, is right here. I'm Susan Krause. I'm the oldest daughter. This is my husband, John McCullough. We live in Virginia, Minnesota, and I am a children's librarian, and he is a salesman for the Husky Freight Company. My sister, Kathy. Hi, I'm the second oldest in the family,
This is my husband Gary. He's a bank officer at a local bank in Evelyn, where we live, Evelyn, Minnesota. And this is my son Alex, who's 4. Hi. He's got a real good voice on him, good lungs. And my youngest brother Jerry, I guess.
Hi, I'm Jerry Krause. I'm the youngest of Mary Helen's family. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a manager of a liquor store there. And, well, actually, the liquor store is in Cambridge, right near Harvard University, which is very interesting. I think it's really great that we could all come back here and celebrate our coming to this country through the form of John and Rachel. I knew I was going to forget. And less than 100 years ago, and trace our roots back there right to the beginning in America. And I think it's really wonderful that we can do that here today. So we'll go over to the press now.
Hi, my name is Terry Krause. I'm the wife of Mary's third oldest child, Jim. And Jim is a systems repairman for U.S. Steel at Mintac and Mountain Iron. And I'm a part-time Tupperware dealer, had to get that one in, and a part-time visual display person at Herberger's in Virginia. And this is my son Brian, and he's 7.5. Boy, am I shaking, and I don't know why. People are all so friendly. And we have a daughter named Kelly, who's 2, who's, like she said, is outside being, how do you say, pacified? She's not happy she's not standing up here right now. And we'll pass it on.
I'm Patty, and it's fun to be back at Hope because I used to spend a lot of time when I was little visiting, and then I met George Pratt, who retired 2 years ago as chairman of the Ag Engineering Department at NDSU, and we were both enjoying his retirement. I owned a uniform shop for 10 years and retired about 4 years ago, and now I work 1 day a week at Lori's, just enough to buy clothes. I spend more than I earn, however. And we were fortunate to have 2 nice children. Tom, our first child, is sales rep for Graybar Electric, and he has 2 little girls, Catherine Ann and Brenna Patricia, and they live in Fargo. And our second child, Nancy, lives in Minnetonka, Minnesota, and she married Mike Coash, who has roots in North Dakota. His grandparents came from Erie, North Dakota. In fact, they stopped there on the way up here today to visit the cemetery. And they have two little girls, so you see we have 4 granddaughters. Megan Jean and Elizabeth Rachel, who was named after her great-great-grandmother, Rachel. And we're so happy to be here today, and nobody else wanted to say anything but me, so thank you. Excuse me, I missed my daughter-in-law, Chris Borg, and Chris and Tom met at NDSU, and Chris is from Red Lake Falls, Minnesota. Sorry.
Be careful here. And he could not find a relief man today, so he will be coming when we close the store at 5:30. I think we're closing early tonight. And he's sorry he couldn't be here. I am going to tell you a little bit about Bruce and Howard because I don't think anyone has seen them for ages. We visited with Howard and Betty Kay in Cynthiana, Kentucky in July. They have 3 children. Tara is a pharmacist in Louisville. Dara will graduate from the University of Kentucky in December, I believe. I think he's in business and electrical engineering, maybe, a combination, a double major. And Jason is a junior in high school, and they have just built a beautiful new home on the golf course in Cynthiana. We had a lovely visit with them. And then the elusive Bruce, who no one can keep track of. Bruce is in Saudi Arabia. He works for a Swiss company, and he went to Saudi Arabia the 24th of December. And he has been all over the world buying materials to go back into Kuwait, to rebuild Kuwait. He comes home every 6 months, but of course we don't see him. Occasionally we do talk to him on the telephone, though. But they both regret that they could not be here today. I have 2 other children. This is my son David, our oldest one. I have a daughter, Sarah, who is married to Tom McGill. They moved to Fresno, California the 1st of August, He is in emergency room medicine, and Sarah is a pharmacist and works for Total Pharmaceutical Care, which is a home health care agency. And Charles, who should be here any minute, he's someplace between here and Grand Forks, will graduate from UND in physical therapy on May 11th. That will be the first time we won't have someone in college since 1978, and we're looking forward to that. I'll let David tell you about himself.
She doesn't know we're going to go back. We're all talking about going back to college so she can have college students. I'm David, the oldest. This is my wife, Dorothy. We just got married last October. We're living in Omaha. I work for the federal government as a civilian. Headquarters SAC as a project facility engineer. And probably chief cook and bottle washer, whatever comes up. Dorothy is now working for a hospital, Bergen Mercy is the name of it. She works 2 jobs, so I'm halfway home and working all the time. Part-time as a social worker in the nursing home facility and a new facility called Respite Care Center. She's working as a LPN. It's a home setting professional health care facility for those people who are taking care of loved ones at home and really need a break.
Being by far the oldest of any of the grandsons and granddaughters of Rachel and John, I'd like to introduce my wife, Lorraine. I was in schoolwork for a long number of years, 38, and retired to Sun City West in Arizona. And I play a lot of golf and am involved in several clubs and organizations. Lorraine plays a lot of bridge, is involved in the volunteer work at the hospital. She's head of the Sun Health Auxiliary down there. And we have lived in 2 houses already, and we're planning on a 3rd one. We're going to move to the golf course again, like we did when we were in Watertown, South Dakota. I'm going to let Lorraine talk about 2 of our children. By the way, none of them are here. She's going to talk about the 2 girls and their families, and I'll talk about the 2 boys and their no families. Here you go.
Well, our oldest daughter, Diane, is married to Bob Todd, and they live at Champaign, Illinois, where Bob is the Associate Athletic Director at the University of Illinois. They have 2 children, Lori, who is 24, graduated last year from the University of Kansas, and she's working part-time and going to school, working on her master's degree at the University of Illinois. And we have a grandson, Michael, who got married last spring and is working. He and his wife both are working and going to school. Mike isn't quite, he doesn't really know what he's going to settle into. Probably, he said, criminal justice, but who knows. And his wife is a third year pre-med student. Our youngest daughter, Patty, is married to a captain in the Army. This sounds funny, they're stationed at Pittsburgh. Actually, the Army is sending Scott to school to get his MBA. And Patty got her master's at Duquesne last year. She was teaching in Pittsburgh, and now she's a counselor for Allegheny County. They have 2 children, Matthew, who is 9, and Aaron, who is 4. I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, the 2 boys are not married. We went back to Newport, Rhode Island, and visited Jim. His girlfriend, I guess you'd say, is a lieutenant commander in the Navy. And they can't quite figure out how they can get married and live together because he's a major in the Army, she's a lieutenant commander in the Navy. And they're separated now between Rhode Island and Hawaii, where Jim was just assigned. Tom works in an electronic plant in Pure, South Dakota. He's foreman of one of the shifts, and we thought he might be here today, but he called the other day and said he's buying a house and he's involved in the process of purchasing a home. So maybe there's hope for him too. When they start buying houses, it looks a little better than when they're living in apartments. We're sorry they couldn't be here, but when you're spread from Pittsburgh to Hawaii, it gets tough. And We just came from Chicago, where Lorraine's sister had her 50th wedding anniversary. So we had 150 relatives on Lorraine's side of the family, all at dinner last Sunday. Now we've got, what, about 180 of our family here at home. We also had a trip planned to Alaska, but we called it off because we had too many family events. Carolyn, my younger sister, although our hair is about the same color, her family's a little closer, except for one.
He forgot to tell you we've been married 47 years. Yeah, I think he is the dawn of this Italian family. I'm Carolyn. I'm my younger sister. I'm blonde. He's great. We've lived in Grand Forks for the last 33 years, I guess, or something like that. And we've had 4 boys, 3 of whom are here today. One came all the way from Springfield, Surrey, England, to be here with his family. His name is David. A couple of the wives and the 2-year-old haven't arrived yet. They knew what their 2-year-old would be like, so they left him in Grand Forks till noon, and they'll be here this afternoon. But I've been, after the kids were all in school, I went back to teaching and taught 2nd grade for 25 years, and I'll tell you what he's done.
According to my wife, Mary Little, we're both retired and enjoying it very much. Now we'll turn it over to the children. Hi, I'm David, and the one distinction I probably have, not that I'm the reason for it, but Sheila, my wife, who is English, has done 2 things, taken us closest back to Newry, Ireland, which I've not yet visited, but now that I know about it, and I didn't previously, apologies for my historical lack of knowledge, we'll go over and visit sometime the next year or 2. But the second thing is, they're trying to teach us English. And my daughter's been practicing. I want her to pronounce a word for you. She came up to me 2-3 weeks ago and said, Dad, is my American sounding good? Now, say water.
Water.
She's been trying for 3 weeks. Anyway, my wife, Sheila, who is English, my son, Simon, who's 13, Katanya, who's 11, and we're living, like I said, just south of London, England.
What do you do?
Oh, I work for a shipping company, and indeed, over the last 17 years, we've lived in Norway, Greece, England once before, and England yet again. We're trying to find out how we can get a shipping company over here in North Dakota, but we're going to have to work hard on that.
And we go to Dakota.
Yeah.
I'm John. I'm the 3rd son. There were no surviving daughters that we're aware of, or sisters. I don't know why that is, but we did have a girl dog.
She gave up and died.
I'm married, and Alex, as you can see, is very well behaved at 2.5 years, but we had to keep him in Grand Forks to show that to you. They'll be here a little bit later this afternoon. Gail works as an intensive care nurse when she is working. When she's in the home, she's working as a fairly intensive care nurse, trying to chase after Alex. I'm a physician over at the Grand Forks Clinic at this time, and I started up in January. It's been very nice to be back in North Dakota. I'll turn you over to our little brother.
We'll need to go back to Camp Mark, won't we? Yeah. That's what I figured. Anyway, I'm Paul, and I'm the youngest of the group. I'm currently the Associate Director of Psychology at the Developmental Center up in Grafton, and my wife has just completed, or is just starting her 2nd year of teaching in 3rd grade out at the Air Force Base in Grand Forks, and she took the opportunity to keep trying to work on her room this morning, and she'll be up with Gail this afternoon. And then these are our 2 children, Elizabeth, who's 9, and who's into piano, and Laura, who is 6, and Laura wanted to tell you quick about the dogs, but I said just say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
There you go. Good job. And with that, I'll go back to...
Okay, the one boy that isn't here today is Mark. He and Susan live in California, and they have 2 kids, Erica, who is 10, and Evan, who is 8. What's that thing? And they spent their money this summer on a spa. So if any of you would like a little family reunion with them, go to Ridgecrest, California, and spa with them. So they send their greetings to everyone. Thank you. Can you song where it says banquet song? And we will do a little Norwegian banquet song in English by a bunch of Irishmen, okay? Harry will play it through one time so you get the gist of the tune, okay? And when we get to verse number 2, there's something to do, so do it when we get there. You don't have to read ahead, just sing along now. Ready? Let's go. John crossed the foam. He wanted to work and to roam. He came to this town, and here he had found the land that he soon called his home. John lived on the land to homestead, then thought it was time that he went. So he went back to Newry, wed Rachel in a hurry, and back to Dakota they sped. Soon after they landed back here, John farmed all his land without fear. Then Rachel had Joe, who farmed also, we know, and with Ethel had 9 children to rear. Then Ethel, my mom, next in line, taught country grade school for a time. But then she got married to Harvey, who carried the mail to the farmers on time. Next came a daughter named Flo. I don't know that you'd ever call Flo, but Florence was right with everything. Next came a daughter named Flo, who also taught school for the Joes. At her time to marry, she found Uncle Harry. They had a good life, we all know. The athletes were next in the line. They excelled in the sports of their time. Then Doris met Ted, and Jack soon was wed to Aunt Leo, who taught me to rhyme. She was my second grade teacher, you see, so I had to throw that in. Then carrying on the tradition, Ruth found teaching as an ambition. Then she moved to the farm with Richard by her arm. She golfed now to stay in condition. This family found schooling a need, and Frida was no different indeed. She trained as a nurse to put coins in her purse, and with Dave found a good life to lead. The last but not least of them all was Sylvia, or Tip, she was called. She was the school marm, and wed Wayne and then farmed, and baked the best bread of them all. Now that was a family of 8, of whom 6 of them now are of late. But Connie and Joy found the way to employ the McCulloughs to come celebrate. And that's the end of that beautiful limerick epic. Copies are copyrighted.
being as he brought up Baldy, I want to tell a story about him. He's out here. Something he said, I always thought was funny. We were out at Irie's one time, and Baldy was there, and he turns to Buck and says, they've been having a good time all night, and says, Buck, let's you and I go catch the boat, take her down the Mississippi, party all the way down. When we get there to New Orleans, we'll shoot ourselves.
Okay, you may have your memories about visiting the McCullough farmstead home, as we all have our fond memories too about the place, the old place. And if this house could talk, we would love the old stories that it had. Mostly, remember that it was always filled with love, laughter, and a little Dickens occasionally, as you can all think. No matter what the reason or the family gathering that was held at the time, there were always a lot of people around, and throughout the years there were various forms of entertainment for us to enjoy. We'd like to start kind of in the 1930s and 1940s, and if you are from that generation, or if you were one of the people peeking down the register at that time, the people would come with their violins or fiddles, I suppose you'd say, accordions or whatever. I heard stories from Laverne, North Dakota, about Charlie and Ed Anderson coming over. Is that right, Ruth? Ruth? And they would bring their instruments, and you guys would play piano, and you would have the great house dances. Push all the furniture back, and you'd dance on hardwood floors. And I thought, and Dad would say,
John Fisher called the square dance. I can remember watching down the register, and the house was just shaking. Yeah, in the barn in the wintertime, they'd all come with their teams and stuff, and they'd have them horses packed in the barn until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and they'll all hitch up and go home.
see, the house kind of went through that from generation to generation, I say, with different people gathering and having parties. And that also brings to mind how the McCullough girls had the piano talent, and each generation would play the piano about dishes time and get out of dishes, I guess. And that follows through in my house too, what can I say? But we enjoy that part of it.
Involved the radio. Families stayed close to listen for news as to how their loved ones were doing in many corners of the world. It made the world seem a little smaller. Also, happier times were savored in hushed moments around the wireless. Do you remember laughing at Fiber McGee and Molly, Jack Benny, George Burns, and Gracie Allen, or the Lone Ranger? Mom, what do you recall as high school students, the war and the McCullough farm?
My high school days, I guess we did a lot of swimming out at the dam, and I remember Nick and Sally were given swimming lessons out at the dam, and I guess before that it was really the hub of the entertainment out there. They would have stands, lunches, and everything out there. And then one time we would all go out there ice skating and that. I didn't know this was going to become my home because I was still in high school. But yeah, it was entertainment center for a while.
In the later years, as teens, we also remember fishing at the dam and tobogganing parties, and people getting in trouble out on rafts on the dam. Remember something about that, Alan?
Yeah, I remember. A couple friends and I decided to take a ride across the dam on the raft. It was Joe's birthday. We got halfway across the dam, and Joe came out and he hollers, "You gonna come in and have birthday cake?"
I says, no, I don't want any. So he goes back to the yard, he told Mom, no, he doesn't want any birthday cake, he's out on the dam on a raft. So she come around the dam with that little Ford Fairlane on 2 wheels, I'm sure the whole way. She's standing there waiting for me when we got to the other bank, and the other 2 guys were way on the other side of that raft. They weren't going to get any place anywhere near that shore.
About 46 people, and about 6 little boys have been strapped. That's it.
That's it.
Of America. As Joe and Ethel were now grandparents, the large family became even larger with all the new in-laws and little ones. Gatherings were always a few decibels above the national safety level, but a good time was had by all. For instance, a typical gathering at Christmas time involved the young adults who at this time were Everett and Beth, Artis and Adolph. Later on was Lenora and Nick and Joanne and Eugene. In the 1950s. They would get the little ones settled with their toys, and then they would decide to play cards or watch TV. All of a sudden, all the little darlings, that'd be us cousins, of course, probably Gary and Connie and Wade and Joy and Gail and Ellen and Julie and Kevin, wanted to join in on what the moms and dads were doing. Mom used to tell us how they would pass out the new Christmas toys thinking that keep us busy. But they wanted to sit down and play cards, and all of a sudden there'd be 6 or 8 of us with little pull toys going around the table. Beep, beep.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, that's kind of outrageous. It looked like a scene from I Love Lucy, I'm sure, in the 1950s.
During the 60s through the 80s, we all grew up involved in 4-H and MYF and stuff. And I guess I don't mind bragging a little bit. Danny and I and Joe took our share of Rosette beef cattle out of the county. We did our stuff.
You were also drugged around town with those cattle, too.
No, that was all them adults. Yeah, Charlie and Dad and them guys, they usually got drugged around town trying to get them in the barn for us, but and with school activities and stuff, we were busy, and then Thanksgiving was always exciting, especially when the crew from Fargo would try to come out and probably hit the first snowstorm of the year and get stranded someplace. Rupert, Okies and Almond. Yeah, end up in the ditch or something. And then for many years, the Memorial Day picnic was always out at the farm. Then when Grandpa and Grandma moved to town, we had it in town for a few years, and then later was moved back out to the farm, and we all have a lot of good memories of that, especially with the Colestos coming from Grand Forks, trying to teach us how civilized people live, I guess. We'd have to rub them a little bit, because they always had 2 or 3 days of school left, and we were all done, so. Well, I guess that's about all I got here.
enjoy the accompaniment, but I know it's getting long too for all of you. We don't want to leave you without talking about our favorite Dickens tales, I'm going to call them, where the entertainment maybe took a different turn for the little ones or older ones too. You know, after many years after the fact, certain stories may come to life, and we have tales from both genders, female and male. Certain female children, and my brothers warned me that we better have some stories in here about the women in the family, so they're tired of getting the brunt. Certain female children once had a fight upstairs in this old house that was so fierce that the discussion spilled over plaster onto the dining room table where everybody else was having their noon meal. And Grandpa Joe jumped right out of his chair and hopped upstairs and settled the discussion right now. And I guess, somebody didn't sit down for a few weeks after that? Who was that now? No, not... Gene and what, Marla? Clifford, I'm sorry. Shirley? Joanna, and you were teasing her. Okay. Anyway, plaster fell. And then there were a few times when us cousins, Connie and Gail and I, we were the older girl cousins, and as soon as we would find a vehicle that we could hop into and run to town, we'd make the little girl cousins stay home and babysit. So I think Lori and Marianne and Julie have some bad stories about us too, so try and be easy on us. We also know that there were two generations of musketeers, we'll call them, who entertained themselves while their moms weren't looking. And these were Charlie and Glenn and Everett. And like he said, it involved a barn. You know, they're about, 4, 5, and 6 years old. Burned the barn down. And thank goodness they made it out of their lives. And then there was also Alan and Joe and Danny and Craig Sampson. Yes, you. Curtis, he was in on it. Randy Richardson, and Jimmy McCullough. We can't leave them out because they had some fun on the homestead. Each group was usually involved with a fire or cigarette or a spray can or two or a BB gun or maybe chopping the chicken's heads off or something like that. That was the first generation. Oh, that was the first generation. Yeah. Chickens. Anyway, we must carry these family skeletons to our grave and don't let it leave this building, all right? Thank you.
Now after that small McCullough skit, we got the Irish sing-along up there. So if they'll all come up to the front, why I don't imagine there'll be many people left back there to watch them.
We're pretty well organized here. The name of the song is Household of Faith. I guess we sang it last at Mom and Dad's anniversary. This is without a practice, so sorry. Okay, we're ready.
I guess Dave McCullough has got a few words to say here. Where is he? There he comes. Omaha Tycoon. We got a woman back in the crowd I know would love to have this trunk. Her name's Joan Lindley.
Well, I don't have a lot of talent to share, but I have a piece of our heritage here. Some time back, when Ted and Doris left Hope, this old trunk was found on the auction block by my mother. She saved it from the sales gavel. It was a beat-up old trunk. It had dry rot. It wasn't very pretty. It sat in our garage for a number of years, and I ended up in Minot working for the Air Force, and I ran into a gentleman who, amongst other things, had a talent for restoring old, dilapidated trunks. I talked with him about the trunk. We did a little research and discovered that this was very typical of immigrant trunks. We did a little more digging and found that this was, by all evidence that we can find, the McCullough immigrant trunk. It's what Rachel and John packed all the physicians from Ireland and brought them to this country. The gentleman who was a retired New Orleans police detective, retired in Minot of all places, looked at it and said, Dave, I don't think there's much we can do for it, but I'll keep it for a while. I'll think about it, and I'll talk to some friends and see if there's anything we can do to salvage your history. 4 months later, after about 10 cleanings, some oil, some special calls to different places in the country, California, Arizona, we came up with the fittings, the decorative pieces, everything that you see on the trunk today, which there isn't much that isn't original, but every piece that is not original is identifiable. So we have our heritage, the immigrant trunk, intact. Some people have asked, what does it cost to do something like this? It's a priceless piece of our heritage that can't be put a dollar amount to. And we're happy that we can share this with you today. If you have a chance, take a look at it. The interior is still kind of beat up. The gentleman who did work said that the decorative pieces on the inside were in good enough shape where he didn't want to monkey with them. But it's part of our history, part of our heritage, and we thought we'd share it with you today.
My second cousin, and she's about 55 years old. Her picture's on the wall over there in my little car. Met us at the boat. She has a husband and 2 nice young sons. And Aunt Ruth was still alive at the time, so it was fun listening to her and reminiscing about all these people, which I didn't understand who they were until the next day when we went up to Newry and we met more of Mother's cousins. So all in all, as I say, we met 7 first cousins. We got over to the house that our grandmother was raised in, and we happened to be standing outside looking at this place. It's now in the Catholic district, and of course, you know what the Catholics and the Protestants are doing, and especially in Newry. That's one of the hardest hit places in Ireland. But this young man came out, and he ran a bicycle shop, and he wondered what we were doing, and we told him, and he said, come on in. And so we got into the original house. It was 4 stories high, kind of long, or high and narrow. But we got up to all the floors, and I'm sure some of the original paper was still there. And Reggie, who was a husband of one of Mother's cousins, said, I think I'll sit out in the car and act like an American. Because they're always a little bit leery of people sitting in cars and being bombed. And, you know, there's lots of bombed out places here. But we went to another cousin's home, and it was beautiful. We went to 3 homes, and one of the girls was in a 200-year-old home full of Waterford crystals, Waterford Chandeliers, and they're all lovely people. And it was a thrill for us. And if any of you are ever going to Ireland, I have all the names and addresses. Be sure and call me, and I know you have a wonderful time. Thank you.
Don Warborough. You're the son of the second oldest McCullough here, aren't you?
I'm the oldest one here. Yeah, you are.
You know, I've been bragging all day about how I was the youngest McCullough cousin here. But after that softball game and those sit-ups squats that we did over here, I'm not bragging anymore. That's hard to do, isn't it? It was a fun game, though. We had a good time. Let's see. I made some copies of the letter that Rachel wrote to her mother, some little booklets, and I only made a few of them, so I thought I'd give them to the cousins, you know, my cousins, and then the three older ladies. But there may be a few left. I don't know what happened to them. I think they might be over in a pile over there by Bill or something. But if I forgot to get one of them to you, and you're one of the cousins, well, go get one. And if there's any left over, you can have them. That's fine. I think that letter is so precious. I don't know. Do you have plan to read that later or something? If we don't do it, find a copy of that letter and read it. It's just a special moment from the past, and I just think of Rachel sitting, you know, by a lantern or a lamp and writing a letter to her mother, and she was probably really lonesome, you know, hadn't seen her mom for a long time, and when you think about the background behind that letter, I think it's really special, you know, so if you get a chance, read that letter. Let's see. I remember coming to the old home place too, and so the biggest thing was that there were so many people there. And I'm an only child, and there wasn't many people at our place, you know. And there were so many people at the old home place, and it was so much fun, and all this stuff, you know. And I was the youngest, or one of the youngest anyway. And I can remember falling asleep on a pile of clothes, you know, or coats in the old back bedroom there, you know, and waking up in the car on the way home, you know. And so there are a lot of neat memories, and it takes an event like this to kind of make those surface again. And call those back to mind again. I'd like to thank everybody for having this, you know, being here and making it a special day. I'm going to sing an English folk song, and we're not actually English, but it's close. But I think probably John and Rachel had heard of the man that wrote this song. The song is one that has become probably a standard in Christian music. It's sung by literally everyone, and I'm sure that most of you will know some of the songs to it, or some of the words to it. And I invite you to sing along with me as I sing it. The song was written by a man named John Newton. And John Newton, among other things, was a slave trader. He was the captain of a boat that transported slaves. And throughout John's life, he struggled with his walk with the Lord. And so as you sing and as you hear these words to this song, think about an Englishman, John Newton, and what the words may mean. A lot of times we sing songs, we have no idea what the background is or what the significance of the words are. But if you would, please listen and sing along if you know them. The song is called Amazing Grace.
Dakota, USA, it'd be pretty tough, I suppose. This is a letter from Rachel to her mom and dad back in Ireland, and it's dated December 21st, 1917, 2 years before most of us were even born. Okay, it says, Dear Mother, it has been a long time since I've heard from you. Of course, when you do write to Meg, I always read her letters. I hope you're keeping well. I have not been feeling very well this summer myself, but are all right now. I just read it as it's written. The doctor thought I had a touch of kidney trouble, so we got quite a scare. I lived on buttermilk for 6 weeks and got along fine. We are living in town this winter, just rented a house for the winter, so the children won't have to drive back and forth in the cold. It has been very cold here, 30 below zero about a week ago. But now it is just lovely weather with the new snow on the ground. Well, we won't have Joe with us this Xmas. We sure will miss him. If he had been here, he would have been drafted. Henry and Maggie will eat Xmas dinner with us. I have my geese already to put the dressing in and my fruit cake made, but I have my pudding to make yet. Of course, everyone feels quite bad about the war. There are quite a number of boys gone from here, and more yet to go. No matter where you go, people are busy knitting. I have not done any knitting for Red Cross, but expect to after the holidays. We are all members of the Red Cross. Everyone has had to join. Joe is farming in Canada for himself now. He is batching it now. Has another young fellow with him, but he seems to be having a good time. He is living in a French and English district, but it must seem funny to him to get his own meat. But I think it is a good deal. I are sending him a roast duck and fruitcake for Xmas. I are knitting him a sweater, but and are waiting to get it. The jerseys they knit for soldiers have not got any sleeves in, but are putting sleeves in his. Ethel, she's teaching about 10 miles from here, so since the cold weather comes, she don't get home. So long as the weather was nice, her father went after her in the motor car. But I think he will go after her tomorrow. She will have her vacation. She seems to like teaching very much. Teachers are getting very scarce and of course are getting better ways. Florence is going to send her photo to you. We all think she is like Minnie McCullough, only much stouter and healthier looking. And of course, Johnny is getting to be a big boy in 8th grade. His father surely misses him now on farm. This winter, Teddy is next. He is something like Joe. He is in 4th grade. Ruth has got very long hair, golden color, and seems to be very smart in school. Frida has just started this year, and Sylvia will have to go next year, and would like to go now, if she dare. She was 5 last September, but they don't go to school here until they're 6. Well, I think I told you a little about us all. If you saw these big boys and girls, you couldn't believe it. Health is just awfully scarce here now, and wages are so high. We are milking about 10 or 11 cows now, and more before spring. Wheat is a good price. Boys are very good too. We sold ours for 17 cents a pound live weight and about 30 in cheese.
to have some programs. So, my family loves sports and everything, and they don't want to talk, so I still try to do it. I come across this little reading. It's the 30th generation. We were born in the 30s, so I thought I should read this to everybody here and enjoy it or whatever. We were before television, penicillin, the pill, polio shots, antibiotics, and frisbees. Before frozen foods, nylon, Dacron, and Xerox. We were before radar, fluorescent lights, credit cards, and ballpoint pens. For us, time sharing meant togetherness, not computers. A chip meant a piece of wood. Hardware meant hardware. Software was not even a word. In those days, bunnies were small rabbits, and rabbits were not Volkswagens. We were before Batman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Snoopy. Before DDT and vitamin pills, disposable diapers, Jeeps, and the Jefferson nickel. Before Scotch tape, M&M's, the automatic chef, and Lincoln Continental. When we were in college, pizzas, Cheerios, fresh orange juice, instant coffee, and McDonald's were unheard of. We thought fast food was what we ate at Lent. We were before FM radios, tape recorders, electric typewriters, word processors, electric music, and disco dancing. We were before pantyhose and drip-dry clothing, before ice makers, dishwashers, clothes dryers, freezers, and electric blankets. We were before fashion dictated that men wear long hair and earrings and women wear tuxedos. We got married first and then lived together. How quaint could we be? In our day, cigarette smoking was considered fashionable. Grass was mowed, smoke was what you drank, and pot was something you cooked in. We were before coin vending machines, jet planes, helicopters, and interstate highways. In the mid-30s, made in Japan meant junk, and the term making out referred to how did you do it in the exam. Well, for some. In our times, there were 5 and 10 cent stores where you could buy things for the 5 and 10 cents. For just a nickel, you could ride the streetcar, make a phone call, buy a Coke, or buy enough stamps to mail one letter and 2 postcards. You could buy a new Chevy Coupe for $600, but who could afford that in the 30s? And what a shame when gas was only 11 cents a gallon. We were not before the difference between the sexes were discovered, but we were before the sex changes. I guess we just made do with what we had in the 1930s.
Bring a little more fun then, because I sure couldn't keep up with it now. Yeah, one more thing on the program, unless there's somebody else that's got to do their thing. Okay, Terry McCullough has something to do? There he comes, okay.
Well, my name is Kerry, and these are the monotones. And my dad is Mick, and he's been in the grocery business in Hope for about 35 years. And a few years ago, I wrote a song about him, and I'd like to share with you. And I want to warn you, none of us are singers, so just bear with it. Well, I was born a poor grocer's son in the back room of a North Dakota slum. We were poor, but we had love. Good food, we sure had enough of. But through the years, I must have ate a ton. My daddy, I'm so proud of him, 'cause he always made life worth living. All the people that knew him by cheerful whistling, even though at times it sent our heads a-ringing. Raised in loser's pay, on the rough dark clothes on a washboard and a day. Well, I've seen her fingers bleed, too plain there was no need. She's smiling my misunderstanding way. In the summertime we didn't have shoes to wear. In the wintertime we'd all get a brand new pair. From a mail order catalog, Monday Macy's down the hall. Daddy always managed to get the money somehow. Well, I was born a poor grocer's son, and we never had much time for fun. 'Cause you work hard every day for a poor grocer's pay, but he always had a smiling face some way. Yeah, I was brought to be poor grocer's son, and I'll bet you're glad this song is almost done. 'Cause my singing is really bad, but hey, I sure am glad that you got to hear this song about my dad.
This is where, I guess, Grandpa John McCullough, Rachel homesteaded in, what, 1892? Somewhere there?
They were married in 95, weren't they? Came over, and when he came over here, he had another fellow on the farm. They worked for a farmer down in Foreman, North Dakota. And then he heard about these homesteads up here, so he came up and he homesteaded. And then put up some buildings, and then he went back to Ireland and married my mother. And it was in 1895 that they were married and came here.
So he brought her back into 1895.
1895, uh-huh.
Then when was it you were?
Well, I was born 1902, but then there was Joe and Ethel and Mabel, and then me, you see. So they had them quite fast. Uh-huh.
Okay. What year did John die?
Our father?
Yeah.
I think it was about 1922.
22, yeah.
I was teaching in Portland at the time.
And did the kids and Rachel take over the farm then, or?
Yes, they did. Of course, my mother wasn't able to do much anything because she had depended on my father all the time to take care of all the business, so it was awfully hard on her.
Huh?
So how old Well, I can't just remember, she was about 48 or 9.
She moved to town with 5 kids still in high school. In what year?
Well, I can't well, when we lived in the house that
Lori
has, yeah. Well, I was teaching in Portland at the time, so it was 1922 or 23. So, but did your mother die out here?
No, she died.
No, she died in Ethel's house. Yeah.
Did the boys stay out here and farm then, or?
No, Jack and Ted were still in high school, and then Dad took over the farm after that. He moved up there from a mile south,
okay,
where we were born.
Joe McCullough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Tell them about when you're riding and Well, I was telling the kids on the way out, when I went to school from out here, I had to ride with a horse and buggy, or in the wintertime with a sled. And one time I remember that we had a horse on a cutter, and we got down to that bridge just west of the cemetery, and the snow was all kind of piled up, and you had to go kind of in curves, and the shafts broke. And so we had to all get out and walk into town, and Jack rode the horse in. And then one time we had a team on the sled, and they used to cut across the field, and there was a telephone pole there. And when they got to the telephone pole, one horse went on one side and the other went on the other. That was another catastrophe. What about your cream can? Well, and then one time when I was teaching, this was, we were on the farm, and my mother wasn't able to be up and do the work, so we had somebody come in and help while I was teaching school in Hope. And so Ted and I were driving in with this horse and buggy, and we had a horse by the name of, this was Fred, and he was very shy. And just a least little thing, he jumped aside. And we were driving along, we had a cream can full of cream. And this horse jumped aside and tipped the cream can over. And we went in the ditch, it was full of water, it was in the spring of the year. But we finally got out of there, and Ted, he had a terrible time getting that car cleaned up. Did Uncle Joe used to drive the horses in when you were going to school? When
Yeah,
you were young?
well, this was years ago when Ethel and Joe and Lydia Brandyville lived next door, so she rode with us, the four of us. And so we'd drive into school. And then our dad farmed a half section. They called it the McCullough half section. So he had the steam engine, and he would be plowing out there in the fall of the year when we'd be driving back and forth. So he'd always come to the end. He was so friendly. And he would watch for us. And when we got there, why, we'd stop and talk to him. And he'd say, well, how is everybody today? Is Joe good to you? We'd all say, no, he isn't. He had a nickel, and he'd buy himself a nickel's worth of candy, and he wouldn't give us any. So then our dad told him he had to give us each piece of candy. So he did, and that was it.
That McGowan half you talk about must be over east. They're right west of the cemetery, yeah?
Yeah.
That half section there where Henry Brennell used to live.
Yeah, he bought that after school.
Okay, now I want to ask you something.
What is it?
When you the 5 kids and Grandma McCullough moved to Hope, what'd they live off of? You know, nowadays you're getting Social Security. George is getting Social
Well,
Security.
they had,
Well, what'd your mother have for income with 5 kids?
had money from the farm. Our dad was a diversified farmer.
Yeah, I know.
If he couldn't sell his cream and stuff, milk, why he'd had cows and, you know, young cattle to sell. Or he'd have
Well, my dad come up there and took that farm over though when they went to town. Now, did he pay your mother income from that farm then for years or
Well,
what?
it's so long ago, and I so much money. So much money under the bridge.
Yeah, but nowadays, you know, everybody's got Social Security and welfare checks and everything else, you know.
It, but we didn't
But
have
then
that.
they didn't have it,
No,
you know.
they didn't have it. I
Yeah.
should say that.
Yeah.
You people are also darn lucky. We had to get along with what we had.
Talking about that creek, though, you're going through there with the buggy and the shaft broke and stuff. I can remember when Jack was driving school bus when I was a grade school kid. And he always had them sleigh roads in the wintertime for the teens. Well, Dad would use, everybody would use them sleigh roads to go to town.
They cut across the
And then in
field.
the spring thaw come, and we'd go to school in the morning and come home in the afternoon and hear that whole river over there was flooded.
Yeah.
Well, the team had to swim across and pull the bus across. You know, it'd float, you know.
Oh, I never
Sometimes.
experienced that. Of course,
Well,
they didn't have
we
any
were getting
buses.
modern then.
They didn't have any buses then.
Say, Ruth, can you remember any stories out here you want to tell?
Well, I think Carolyn has my story. She'll tell it.
Do you remember when you were a kid, what do you remember as buildings out here, the youngest you can remember?
The big buildings, the house.
The house and the bar? Do you remember anything about later, there was a barn, didn't there used to be 2 barns out here?
We 3 girls always had to go upstairs to get out of the way from the rest of them. So we'd go upstairs and play house, and then in the fall, the folks would always buy big boxes of crackers and big boxes of cookies and have them in their storeroom. So we'd play house with our dolls, and then we'd have lunch and we'd go to the storeroom to
Then in the storeroom, eat all the cookies there.
and then we'd go to the movie, and we'd sit on the stairway going down from the upstairs. We'd sit on the stairway with our dolls, and the thing up on top that was supposed to be the movie. Well, we did have one of those things that you hold up and then you put a... No, that would shine on the wall.
Projector,
So, Leon, what's the earliest you remember getting into the family here? Was Jack still on the farm, or?
He taught me in the 2nd grade.
I taught Charles and Everett, Glenn, and I remember when I was teaching, Glenn would always come to school and tell tales about Jack to me, and Jack didn't like that. But I want to tell you about Everett's mother and Mrs. Andre. I'll never forget it. They were going to some ladies' aid meeting, and Mrs. Andre had her car, and on the way they had a flat tire, and so they proceeded to go out and try to get that tire fixed up, and it was a front tire, but it's bad. They
jacked up the back.
Yes,
Front tire in the car, but jacked up the back end.
How much I knew about it.
So where did you catch Jack at then? Where did you catch Jack at?
Well, he drove the school bus, and of course I was with Ethel and Ethel and Harvey a lot.
Uh-huh.
And so I was invited over there as a teacher, and of course Jack was there too. And I think there's where we first met.
That's what kind of frame Jack up on.
I don't know.
And then your farm was just right straight north across the section.
The same section.
Yeah. Right straight over them trees there.
That's where Henry Brickstecker lived, like Joy pronounced it this morning.
Oh, yeah?
I remember about them. Aunt Maggie told about how they had fixed a telephone line on the on the fence post. Yeah, I know that. And they talked between. They had a telephone. My mother and Aunt Maggie and Uncle Henry and our dad picked it up in the fence wires, you know. Those two women would sit there and they talked. Any time of day, nobody could hear me. Well, I was going to say about when Aunt Maggie and Aunt Sarah came out here, Ruth was a baby. I remember that. And I wasn't too old either. Ethel sat, she wanted to sit right by the door, holding the new baby. Oh.
Was this the house there? Was that big when you were kids, or did they add on to that over the years?
Well, I'll tell you. It's always been here since I came here.
Is that size, or?
1910 was when I was born, and it was here then. Well, it was being built, yeah. So after that just came out. Henry Bricker and Paul Brandon were building that east section. The first part of the house, close to the garage there, that was the original. And to begin with, it was just, a one-room shack, you might call it. But then they built 2 bedrooms upstairs.
According to the abstract, the east side of that house, the big living room, the upstairs, and the bedroom was built in 1918.
Probably. When?
1918.
Oh, yeah.
And the west part, the kitchen and dining room and the upstairs, that was built in, what year you say?
Oh, I don't know.
Before that.
Well, that was, I was born in 1910, and I was
there then, yeah.
It was there. It was 18.
Yeah.
And it was built in 18.
Was the big barn built before or about the same time as the house? Or,
Well, I don't remember even.
or was it the old barn?
I think that barn that's there has been there as long as I can
I
remember.
guess there was another barn there, too, at one time.
Well, there was that big shed, they called it. That's where it burned down. You just started a fire out there and burned it down. Hey, I remember them burning the they burned the sheep. Yeah, I remember that. The hired men slept up in the sheep barn.
No, the hired men slept in the big barn here.
And the sheep
And we
barn is
burnt
what
down the
burned.
little one.
I know. Well, how old were you when you burned it down? But they went to get
I
the
suppose
fire.
we were 4 or 5 and...
Well, I'll tell you, it was when we were out west. And we left from the men that had that. It went out west, and I don't remember what year. And that started the house fire. They were just lucky to down, I guess. Well, they were lucky to just get out. Oh, yeah. The men are out.
Jack and my dad were cutting grain right here with the 4 horses on the binder. And they come running across the creek. You know, this was just a creek in the back.
Yeah, I remember.
I got an old atlas at home, or not an old one, it's a new one, but it's got 1910 or something. I see that John and Rachel owned a lot of this land in it.
Well, hell, they used to own this.
Right, you're close Texas.
I'm not briefed at that, but they owned this.
Well, I thought they owned it, I just saw it like 3 months or something.
They owned this half, and then they owned that other half over south at one time, too.
And how about where Les Griffith lived?
No, that was all
No, they didn't. All I remember them owning is that half that's up there where the buildings are, and this half here, and or quarter, whatever it is, I don't know. But they farmed a half over there, south of Brandonville, but it didn't belong to us. No.
Well, their name was on a lot of, on 6 or 7 quarters of land.
Oh, yeah.
I got it at home there. I thought Jeff Firey just bought.
I remember the carpenters telling me
on the abstract there was a short period that's like maybe 3 months through a winter or
he asked
something. They
them
owned
if he
that
could bring her
house.
to their house.
I never knew that.
And I know they stayed there.
I don't know.
But I knew, like, this is the home corner here. Grandpa, I don't think he ever owned that factory. He owned They owned this 1 quarter, and then he owned this half. That was 3. And I think at one time he bought that other half over south of Brennamore. Your dad.
See, I remember when I worked for Ethel, and we were washing clothes one day, and the 3 boys were down in the barn, and so I was supposed to go and look, and we heard some noise down there. Here they had the dog down there chasing chickens all over the place, and I don't know how many chickens they killed. 3 boys. Well, is that all now? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I think here's a little closer picture of the home farm. There goes Wade and the crew through. There's the old barn. I still haven't figured out if that was the original barn or there used to be a barn right there. That's the one Charlie and Everett and Glenn burned down one morning. Making a little breakfast, I think, doing some eggs. Here comes some more people in looking. There's Wade Irie now, 4th generation, owns the farm. Basically, he rents the house out to a young guy from Laverne right now, which he farms over in Laverne, and then Wade and Jeff Irie and John Irie, they go together and raise some hogs out here, and some cattle. Won't see any cattle around here today. There's the old garage. Used to be the workshop when I was a kid. I don't know when that was built. And then that Quonset was put up probably in the 70s, early 70s, and that turned into the shop. Who we got up here?
All right.
Up there, ball. Take your glasses off. Right on that highway.
And the other generation.
Right. Just getting the camera on. Big Larry just pulled one down. I believe the last time we had one of these games was probably 25 years ago out at the old man's place.
Yeah.
Remember getting the old aunts and uncles to play.
Well, we played one every time.
Did ya?
Well, not every time. We played once at my house. Yeah, so
yeah.
You never play in a softball game like that. You gotta play one of these before you play the net. Let's just try and come up with something.
Big crowd here today at Hope Municipal.
Thanks a little bit.
Give him Bruce, yes.
Big shift coming on here. Got a battery, a Reed Irie, and Larry. Fitted to Reed's brother Keith. He got a good piece of her. Sampson, oh, he short hops her. He's pulling in with a single. Next comes Buck Irie. Got the brothers batting back to back. Scott Richardson umping. Nice crowd. Ball's a little short there. There he is.
Thank you.